Let's have a look at some of the good breakout setups from yesterday. All of these setups come from either running 4% breakout scans or dollar breakout scan or low threshold breakout scan. So let's look at some of these. This is Spotify, which is basically an IPO. It is breaking out. That's like 4% breakout as well as a dollar breakout. And IPOs can be like very big movers sometimes, so that's a good one. Then you have Core Laboratories, which is basically breaking out. And as you know, yesterday most of the stocks breaking out were like the oil and gas stock, Tusk, which was an anticipation setup also for some people, and it had a breakout. Then you have Murphy Oil. That's This looks nice, like 3-4 days of sideways consolidation breaking out. Didn't close exactly near high, but like didn't give up too much of the thing gains, and is up. Uh, Volume was also high, so that's the thing. CSX, this is a earnings breakout, like out of a long range basically. If you look at like it is breaking out on a weekly chart, like on a longer term range, it might have a pullback. Most of the time it tends to have a little bit of a pullback, but this is a earnings breakout. Not really the earnings were like in a blowout in the sense of like um, but for a company which is a railroad, that earning was good. So this is for like, and if you want to either you can buy it here, you'll need a wider stop, or like basically wait for it to set up on a pullback and buy. It's a large stock. I think float is 743 million, so it's not necessarily the fastest moving stock. SUPN, this is technically like, this was up like here it was itself, it was like up 2%, so that's the negative, and didn't close near the high. Otherwise it looked nice. Again, like in a longer term consolidation it was breaking out of, so that was the thing, but didn't close near the high. So some of these are negatives on this. Ion Geophysics, this was an anticipation setup also, and it had a breakout again. Like most of the stocks faded in the last half an hour or 1 hour, some of these, but like, and it still looks good. It is still a viable kind of a setup. Then yeah, FSS, see, this was like it's series of narrow range days, and then from there it is breaking out. Volume was high. Here like the breakout didn't work, but like, this is a decent setup. Glenmark, this was also anticipation setup, and it did break out. Lower price stock, obviously price stock make bigger moves, so it was up already 17%. Some of these kind of things you should be buying it on the same day, intraday itself, otherwise like, it becomes tricky. Lexington Holding, this is basically a Chinese stock, and phenomenal earnings growth and sales growth, so this looks nice. This still can be bought here. I do have a position in this particular stock which I bought, so this is good. Like, this can work. If it works, the IPOs can be like a little bit more volatile than normal stocks, but if it gets going, you're looking at around 20 probably or more. So that's a nice one, can still be bought. BBX, yeah, this is technically was like 3 days, but this was only like 9 cents, so uh, it's good. 6.72% breakout. Stock hasn't really made much of a moves on these big breakouts. I always look at like, what has happened in the history. Like here there was like, it did just made a move up around 4% after that, or like say here it failed here. It did had some follow through. So that's the history of the stock. So but like that's a nice breakout. Not necessarily viable now, but like a Diamond Offshore again in the same category. 2-3 days of just 1 day of like pullback, like a little bit of pullback and breakout, didn't close near the high. FTSI, this is again I have a position. This is a nice good breakout, and IPOs again. If you look at this, these are the EPS and sales growth. So has got like a very good earnings and sales trend. AMRC, this is very nice breakout. Like this was also a nice breakout, didn't really follow through, but this is still a buyable kind of a thing. You can still buy it today morning. Aqua Metal, this is a low priced. I really don't buy low priced kind of stocks, but like for those who are interested, looks nice. On the short side, you have MWA. A lot of these like, and they look very similar. They're all anticipation kind of setups. GME, then UCTT, then you have AMAT, which gapped down. then Phillips Morris, then you have JNC Jones, then ICHR, AEIS, Roku, and then INNT. So there are a lot of both sides, bullish as well as bearish setups yesterday. If you set up all the scans, you should be able to find these setups much earlier. You should be able to find these setups in the first half an hour, 1 hour. It's best to find breakout setups in the first 15-20 minutes or half an hour, because if you can enter, you can get rest of the move, or you can benefit from the move which happens intraday. But if your job doesn't allow, there are still, you can still buy setups like this next day and they can still work. Say, I would say there's 2-3 setups these, especially this LX, FTSI, AMRC and IO can still be bought.